What's going on, guys? Welcome to the weekly live chat. I do these every single Wednesday, roughly at 6 p.m. Sometimes I delay it a little bit later, like the last 2 weeks, but usually we do it every Wednesday at 6 p.m. This is the Wednesday before UFC Fight Night Orlando. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Kevin Holland. So we'll talk about that card a bit. The following week is UFC 282, Magomed Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz. I don't know why that slipped my mind right there for a second. And also, I should have a video coming out tonight grading UFC 282. I meant to do it earlier today, just didn't have time. But it'll be out later tonight. And, I'll do it probably right out as this stream ends. I'll probably record the video. So it'll be out maybe 9 o'clock tonight, somewhere, depending on how long the stream lasts. But hold on one second. How did I do that? Okay. But anyway, it is November 30th. 2022. That is straight up insanity. I don't know where the time is going, but we'll talk about UFC 282. We'll talk about the Orlando card. We'll talk about also, come out like last week. I did an entire video on it. You can check it out. Francis Ngannou, Jon Jones is being targeted for UFC 285 in March. But do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I think that's pretty much it. Throw some questions in the chat. What's up, Fries? What's up, Constantly Growing? What's up, Homework? What's up, Washington? What's up, Bert's dad? Thank you for the compliment on my haircut. I appreciate it. Thank you, Billy. What's good, Joey? I see you're wearing the Sugar Sean shirt tonight. I hope you enjoyed the shirt. Who did you have in the T-Bow versus Habib? Was it a Robert? I don't know. I have to rewatch that. I don't even remember the fight barely. I watched it at the time, but I don't remember it really all that well. So I'll have to go back and rewatch that one. People talk about that all the time, but I don't remember it too much, honestly, too vividly. It's not a fight I went back and rewatched. What's up, Brendan? 22. I'm glad this year's over. It's just crazy the amount of time. It's just flying by. The time is just flying by. I mean, the older you get, it seems like time just moves by more and more rapidly. This entire year has genuinely felt like about a month for me. And I don't know how that's even possible. Today, just the entire day has felt like 5 minutes. I don't know how it's already 6 p.m. I was like, holy crap, it's already 6 p.m. I was leaning towards Holland winning, but Wonderboy will get Jack Black performance, which will increase his chances of winning now. Okay. Don't have no idea what you're talking about, but all right. I'm addicted to peanut butter. What do I do now? Also, I want Holland to retire after this win. If you're addicted to peanut butter, I guess just make sure you stock up on peanut butter. And what I would do is just cover your entire body with it. I think that's the best way to address it. Time goes by too fast. That is true. That is true. What's up, Giants fan? I hope you are doing well. Thank you for coming to the stream. We've majority usually started at 6, but the last couple of weeks, there's been like multiple reasons. There was a press conference. Then I had stuff to do last week. I think it was 2 weeks in a row, maybe. It might have been 3 weeks in a row. I don't remember. That we started a little bit later. But today we're back to starting at 6. So here we are. What's going on, Fast? I hope you were doing well. I honestly, I can't believe in essentially 3 weeks, we're going to have a 3-week UFC hiatus. So that's just straight up insanity. I mean, for time to go by that quick, it's just unreal. Jack Black will be in Orlando to perform his Wonderboy song for Stephen Thompson. I didn't even know Jack Black sung his song, to be honest. Should Wonderboy retire after this fight? He's not going to, but I don't want to see him fight anymore. I mean, dude is scared to fighting anybody that has any type of grappling skills at all. So I don't care to see him or Kevin Holland fight anymore. They have no look. I know it's an unpopular opinion. They have no future within the welterweight division. Wonderboy Thompson nor Kevin Holland. So for me, go over to PFL, make $1 million or something. Go do something else. Go, help elevate another organization because they have no business fighting any of the elite fighters at 170. Neither one of them. Kevin Holland, I don't know if it's just because Kevin Holland's kind of like crazy and he has this weird personality and he tells Hamzat, you ain't about that life. And then he gets mauled and, saying he's going to have his boys come to Las Vegas and this and that. And he's got this kind of like personality that people gravitate towards, and he never shuts up, which I like Kevin Holland. Don't get me wrong. But that clouds people's judgment in his skill set. The dude can't grapple to save his life. And I know he's improved, okay? I know he's improved. I know he's gotten better. I know he, even with the Khamzat fight, he was scrambling well, but he eventually got submitted. But he's not going to get by people like Shavkat. He's not going to get by someone like Khamzat. He's not going to get by Leon Edwards. He's not going to get by Colby Covington. He's not going to get by Gilbert Burns. It's just not going to happen. So what's the point? The UFC is gifting him a top 10 matchup against Wonderboy Thompson, who is holding his ranking hostage. Okay? That's what's going on here. The only reason Kevin Holland is getting this matchup is because he took on Khamzat on 24 hours notice. And for me, I could care less who wins this fight. I hope it's fun. I hope it's exciting. I don't give a shit about who wins this fight. It's irrelevant. It means nothing to the division. Nothing to the division. So, I like the cut, G. Looking fresh as always. Thank you, Jungle. I appreciate you. Blaze1, thank you for the 10 months of membership. MMA Joey #1, let's go. Thank you, Blaze. I appreciate you. What's up, Henry? What's going on? That shouldn't be an unpopular opinion. What specifically are we talking about there? Wonderboy and Trailblazer need to make Rush Hour 4. Okay. Kevin Holland would beat Luque. Maybe beat Luque. But still, for me, it's just nobody in my opinion in that top, like, who's in the top 10 right now? Let me take a look at the top 10. Okay, Vicente Luque's in number 9. That's his best chance at a top 10 win outside of Wonderboy. And I don't know how Wonderboy's ranked number 6. I mean, at this point, Wonderboy probably loses to Chiesa. He probably loses to Magny. So Wonderboy should be sitting at like number 11 in my opinion. And Vicente Luque should be sitting at like number 12. I don't even know. The rankings are horseshit. So, it is what it is. Okay. What was your reaction at the time, the Henderson-Jones card getting canceled? Were you excited for that fight? I was mildly excited for that fight. But to be honest, Dan Henderson at that point in time was already getting old. I thought Jon Jones was going to dominate him, and the card was straight up shit anyway. So I didn't really care all that much. For me, if I have the choice, I know there's a lot of MMA simps. There's a lot of UFC simps in particular that'll just defend the UFC till they're blue in the face. If it's a really shitty card, I'd rather them just cancel it and just skip it and add those fights to another card. I don't want to sit there and I cannot stomach a fight card like the Grasso versus Araujo fight card or the Mackenzie Dern Yan Xiaonan fight card. I'd rather them just cancel them. And UFC 251 or 151, UFC 151. Let's see what the original card was looking like. It was garbage. Co-main event was Jake Ellenberger versus Jay Heron. I mean, seriously. That's the worst co-main event I've ever seen in my entire life. I knew it was something garbage. So it didn't deserve to be there to begin with. And it was basically unsalvageable without the main event. It wasn't even a fight night. So I was a little bit disappointed just because, obviously I want to watch MMA, but if it's not high level MMA, for the most part, I don't want to watch that shit. If Holland only practices grappling as much as he talked, the sad thing is I'm pretty sure he's training his grappling a lot, but it's just, it's not there. It's not there. There's levels to it, and you can only get so good over a course of 6-8 months. I still want to see Wonderboy versus Michel Pereira. As long as it's not a main event of a fight night, I'd like to see it too. But the guy has fought 11 times since 2021. He knows he's not off the top guys. He's just fighting for money. Okay? Sup, Joey? It's been a while. Been busy. Appreciate you stopping by. Stipe. Where was that at? Stipe versus Gane, 5 rounds. Who wins? At this point, Stipe Miocic is retired. Dude's answering the phones at the fire department at this point. So, I'll take Gane. But it's hard to pick him with those grappling deficiencies we saw against Francis Ngannou. What are your thoughts on RDA moving to welterweight? He's just looking for decent fights at this point. He's not looking to become a contender ever again. He's not looking to be a champion. And he got what he wanted against Brian Barberena. So it should be a fun fight. When is Wonderboy's last win? No way he's number 6. My recollection was Vicente Luque. I was there live at UFC 244 in Madison Square Garden. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong. O'Malley, the future bantamweight GOAT? Maybe. If Jones and Ngannou gets confirmed, who do you got? I'm leaning Jon Jones. But it's very difficult to pick. I got a video in my recommend today of Paddy and Ilya altercation in March, and I look at the comments, and all the people were saying Paddy would destroy Ilya. Could Paddy win that fight? Yes. So skill for skill, Ilya Topuria is a far better fighter than Paddy Pimblett. But Paddy has a massive size advantage. Go look at Ilya Topuria versus Jai Herbert. Is it Jai Herbert? Yes, I think it is. Topuria was massively undersized. So with that discrepancy, it makes it kind of an even fight, but I think Topuria wins. So those are just Paddy simps. If they were the same size, I'd be 99.9% confident Topuria wins. With the size discrepancy, I still lean Topuria, and I would say I'm like 60-40. Because Topuria's got better hands. He's got better jiu-jitsu. He's got, I think he's faster. I think he's got better footwork. I just think overall he's just better if you compare him. And Paddy's been clipped so many times. His chin is a little suspect. I'm a UFC simp, but I definitely call out shit cards and don't watch them if they ain't worth it. I'm good. I'm happy. Now, yeah, I agree with, like, Holland Thompson can definitely train grappling. Some people just can't excel in certain areas. That's for sure. Was Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer a main event? Yes, it was. I believe. I think it was UFC 250, maybe. UFC 250, maybe. Let's take a look. Let me take a look. Yep. UFC 250 main event. Ugh. Was Kevin Holland 5-fight win streak overrated? Yes, it was. The only good win on that win streak was Jacare. Do you wish more people took the RDA route and took fun fights when they know they're out of their prime? As long as they're not holding their ranking hostage, yes, and I hope RDA is taken out of the lightweight rankings. Is O'Malley on PEDs? I can't diagnose someone from Instagram pictures, so I have no idea. Jeff Neal in the Apex, but still, I guess that's why Jeff is on fire right now. You're right, he did beat Jeff Neal. So, could Jon Jones take down Francis easily or no? No. Joey, have you ever heard of King of the Streets? No. Hey, Joey, what's up? If Jones wins the title, do you think he's going to be an active fighter or fight once a year? I'm going to say he's going to be an active fighter. Jon Jones, when he's not having contract issues and he's not in trouble with the law, he tends to be pretty active. Right before he stopped fighting in February of 2020, I think he just fought in December, then he fought in February, and I think right before that he fought in July. So I'll say he'll be active. And what's going on? Not motivational Joe Rogan. Because Rogan is not motivational, and also Rogan's an idiot. After the fight with Ngannou, Gon said that they were going to eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling. Gon is so damn athletic and gifted, so if that's true, I want to see how Gon's wrestling looks now. That's why I wanted to see him versus Curtis Blades. Oh, you mean hand sanitizer boy? Do you dislike O'Malley? A little bit. How would Strickland versus Vettori and Cannonier versus Vettori look? I don't know. Those are all tough fights to pick. Strickland versus Vettori, I'll say it's a close decision, back and forth striking battle. Cannonier versus Vettori, I think it's going to be a close fight too because Vettori's so durable, and I'll say Vettori out-grapples him. If Paddy submits Jarrett Gordon in round 1, would you like to see him fight next? Maybe someone just outside the rankings like Mark Madsen or Brad Riddell. I want to see him fight Terrence McKinney. There you go. Jon Jones can do whatever he wants to whoever he wants, okay? Thoughts on Wonderboy wanting Nick Diaz in 2023? Please tell me he didn't say that. Please tell me he didn't say that, bro. Please tell me he did not say that. There's no way. I hope and pray he didn't actually call out Nick Diaz. I'm looking to see if I see anything on Twitter. I don't know. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. You know what I did see today though? Chael Sonnen being the liar and scam artist and con artist that he is, and saying, "Yeah, Connor's clean. Connor's clean." Chael is so full of shit. He knows it too. I mean, he's not trying to fool anyone. So, but he's full of shit saying Connor's clean. What a joke. He knows damn well. I mean, Connor admitted to being on PEDs. Oh, where was I at? Where was I at? Where was I at? Why is nobody complaining about Patty being co-main event? I am doing my grading of UFC 282, and it's basically is UFC 282 worth your money? And you will hear me discuss that there. Jai is tall though, like 6'1", 6'2". He's taller than most. Okay, I miss watching Bones. I agree. As much as Gregor Gillespie irritates me, it's annoying that he got removed from the rankings where fighters like Stipe. There should be a hard, concrete rule about when a fighter is removed from the rankings. It's ridiculous that Connor's literally out of the testing pool, but he's still in the rankings. The UFC can manipulate the rankings in any capacity they want. That's why the rankings are horseshit. Bellator is so stupid for giving Fedor a title shot. Everyone knows he's going to retire even if he wins the belt. I can't believe Fedor's even still fighting at this point. I mean, who wants to see this garbage? Where's Jon Jones on your GOAT list? Basically number one, but the PED issue, it's like, ugh. Patty being co-main is crazy, agreed. What would you want to see next for the winner of Arman versus Demir? I don't know. I would like to see a big fight. Maybe like a Gamrot fight again. Depending on who wins, it'll be Arman a rematch. Maybe a Dan Hooker fight. Maybe a Jalen Turner fight. Maybe even a Beneil Dariush fight. Could you see Francis versus Jones on 285, them having Sterling versus Hudo as co-main? Or would that be big enough to be a main event? Yes. I could see them doing that as a co-main. Sterling versus anyone is not big enough to be a main event of a pay-per-view. Unless they're absolutely desperate. I'm pretty sure Usman's family puts steroids in their cereal every morning. Okay. Based off of Instagram photos. I don't know why Dominic Cruz annoys the F out of me as a commentator. Paul Felder, hella overrated. Okay. I disagree, but all right. Gon is up there for favorite fighters. Nice cut. Thank you. Do you see Terrence McKinney going far? I think he'll be a top 15 guy. I think he'll be a top 15 guy. But I don't know. He's got to clean up. He's a little bit reckless on the feet. Or a good bit reckless on the feet. Renak needs an opponent. I thought he might have had one. Joe, what aspects of Sean make you dislike him? The reason I say I only dislike him a little bit is his fan base is really what I dislike. His cult-like following fan base. But what makes me dislike Sean is he spins these narratives about every negative aspect. He knows he lost that last fight. His fans know he lost that last fight, and they pretend otherwise. He got knocked out by Chito Vera. I mean, his legs were brutally chopped. He was then shucked to the ground. And then he was flash KO'd with brutal ground and pound elbows. Then he was stretchered out of the cage with no serious injury. And he still spun that as a win. So I think he's delusional. I think his fan base is delusional. And basically, you know, his fan base are just like 16-year-old boys who smoke a lot of weed and wear marijuana tube socks. And they're like, yeah, Sean O'Malley's cool and he's edgy. And look at these tattoos he's got on his face. And he's got this crazy dyed hair, and I really like him, and I'm going to wear marijuana shirt memorabilia too. And they just eat every narrative that he sells to them after every single fight, no matter what happens. And it's quite annoying. McKinney has a TikTok with a few hundred followers. Any of us probably talk to him right now if we want it. Okay, I did not know that. Gon versus Blades is the fight we'll never. Gon is scared of his wrestling. I don't know about that, but maybe. I'm really glad people are calling out all-time 5 lightweights for not wanting to fight anyone but each other. Yeah. Chael didn't say he was clean exactly, but he said he was photoshopped. He literally said, I think Conor McGregor is clean. So I heard that with my own ears. If Jared Gordon beats Patty, do you think he'll steal any hype or no? If Jared Gordon beats Patty, do you think he'll steal any hype or no? Probably not. Nobody cares about Jared Gordon, to be honest. Strickland versus Cannonier prediction? I'm 50-50 on that fight. I haven't decided yet. Cannonier has the power advantage, so I slightly lean Cannonier, but I could see Strickland getting it done and just boxing him up. Would you like certain pay-per-views to be worth a certain amount for pay-per-view? For amount of money, for instance, 282 is a bit lacking, so it should be way less. It should be. And they raised the pay-per-view cost of big cards. I don't know why they don't lower the cost of shitty pay-per-views, but I know why they don't, basically just because they don't want to lose any money. And they don't want to devalue their own product. I lost it when Ariel said there should have been Glover Jan too. I actually quoted it. I quoted the video of it. Did you see that? Did you see that, John Mundy? I think you follow me on Twitter, right? By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter at MMAJoeyC. That's my Instagram as well. But yeah, I saw that video of Ariel, and I tweeted out, I quoted it, and I said, imagine being this delusional. Glover legit dominated Jan a year ago. Absolutely no one wants to see that ran back. Ever since the UFC stopped signing Ariel's paycheck, he finds anything possible to complain about. I can't imagine anyone actually wanting to see Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira too. I literally can't fathom it. I literally can't fathom it. That's a terrible idea. Ariel is a straight up idiot and just a chronic UFC complainer where he'll complain about non-legitimate things. Like, I'm being dead serious. If they book Glover Jan too, I'd probably just skip the card entirely at a protest. There's no way. There's no way. That's a horrific fight. Nobody wants to see that. So Ariel's an idiot, but he just hates the UFC because they stopped signing his paycheck. He used to never bring up any criticism of the UFC because his paychecks were being signed by them. And then once they went their separate ways, I mean, it's just so disingenuous. And then he's picking out shit that you don't even need to complain about. The UFC made the right call, making Magomed Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz for the main event. Glover Teixeira did not want to fight Magomed. That would have been the number one fight that I wanted to see, Glover versus Magomed. But if Glover don't want Magomed, he just eliminated himself from the options. And it sucks for him, but it is what it is. The rankings always have been a joke. Agreed 100%. When you are not injured and don't fight for a year, you should be removed from the rankings. I'm down with that. If you want Patty to fight McKinney, you just want him to lose. He's a pay-per-view draw. I'm honestly in favor of them protecting him until he gets to the rankings. Dude, I don't know. You just want to protect someone. You got to get protected to get in the rankings. What a shit show that is. Since Jack Kermudi, do you get a cut of UFC pay-per-views? Do they pay you off pay-per-view revenue? I don't know why you wouldn't want to see the most interesting fights possible. If Jon Jones loses to Francis, will he retire? Probably not. I mean, his second fight at heavyweight would be big too. Is the UFC going to tank Ngannou pay-per-view against Jones if it's his last fight? It won't be his last fight because they have to re-sign him before he fights Jones. I kind of want to see Yanez versus Cruz. That'd be a good test for him. I like that idea. I want to see, who do you see them giving Cruz? I read that, but then forgot to actually read it. I want to see Cruz versus Sandhagen or Cruz versus TJ when he comes back. Could you see Jan beating Merab? I think Jan would beat Merab. Ain't nothing wrong with smoking weed every day, and Sean's face tats are atrocious. Can't even lie. I never said there was anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that's his demographic. Would you rather see Dariush versus Dustin or Dustin versus Gaethje 2? Dariush versus Dustin. Joey, am I one of those annoying O'Malley fanboys? Not that I remember. Ilya versus Marlon Vera. Unstoppable force meets an immovable object. That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun too. But yeah, Topuria is fighting Bryce. But afterwards, that'd be fun. Chael is so dumb. I'm glad he never became champion. I'm glad he never became a champion. Me too. I think he lost the Cheeto fight. I just like the way the guy fights. There's no problem with that. Did see Gaethje versus Fiziev needs to happen. I agree. O'Malley's such a Terminator. He actually knocks people out and beats them up, unlike Piotr, who's a glorified punching bag. Low. O'Malley's fought nothing but garbage cans. The only good fighter he's ever fought is Chito Vera. He lost. And then Piotr Jan, he lost. Ariel's all in with Jake Paul. Yeah, Jake Paul sent him checks for sure. I'm 100% certain of that. I bet my life on that one. I'd like to see Patty versus Green or Puelles. I never want to see Puelles drag his ass across the canvas again. Cut Puelles. Do you think UFC pays their fighters behind the scenes? DC said they get millions behind the scenes that wasn't included in the final payout. Yeah, yes, they do. They do pay them behind the scenes, but it's all just a form of control. And they don't get credit for that. DC's just a UFC simp. If Islam beats Volk, will he deserve to be pound for pound king after one title defense? It's debatable, maybe. I don't really care about pound for pound, so it's hard for me to answer questions like that. If Colby and Khamzat both cancel out with wrestling, how do you see it going on the feet? Do you think Khamzat will respect Colby's power? No. Khamzat will rush forward, throw bombs, and probably KO Colby, in my opinion. If Cruz versus Cheeto was a 3-rounder instead, do you think it would? How do you think it would have went? Let me look up something real quick. It was a 4th round TKO. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough to say. But I think Vera would have got more aggressive earlier and probably found the finish anyway. If he doesn't respect Colby's power, I could see him getting stung. I don't think Colby's going to sting him. Colby's got pillow punches. Sergey versus Lewis should have been co-main at 282. But Lewis is probably still sick. Isn't Lewis fighting? Oh, Sergey versus Lewis. They fought a while ago. I'm confused. You mean Sergey versus Ty? I don't want to see Glover fight the winner of Jan versus Ankalaev, to be honest. The only reason he was fighting for the belt was because it was a rematch against Jiri. Without Jiri, he doesn't deserve a rematch. Yeah, I think we're going to end up seeing Ankalaev versus Jiri would be my preference. I've been watching UFC since O'Malley was 80 pounds away. Anyway, okay. Can you do a video series of who you think should be in the rankings? I think it would be really cool. Honestly, I usually try to take suggestions and do them, but I can't do it. I just, for me to rank certain fighters, it's just so subjective and it's difficult and it's just, it doesn't make for a compelling video and it's too much thought process behind that and trying to figure out. And then for me, I'm not a fan of ranking the fighters anyway, so I'm probably not going to do that. Winner of Ankalaev, Jan goes straight to Glover. They wait for Jiri if he recovers like 6 months. Okay. Yanez versus Gutierrez is a fight to make. I like that idea as well. If there's big stars in the sport, will ESPN keep re-signing their deals? I mean, it depends how the buys are doing and how the ratings are doing on ESPN+. Could you imagine how marketable big Alex Pereira would be if he spoke English? Dude, I don't know. I'm not a subscriber to the fact that people got to speak English to be able to be a big star. Anderson Silva, massive star, barely spoke English. GSP, broken English. I mean, I don't know if it's broken English, but it wasn't the best as far as promotability, if that makes sense. Big star. You know, I don't think you need to speak English to be a big star. You wouldn't want Justin 2. Dariush is boring. Hot take. I don't know, man. I'm just tired of all those guys fighting each other. Piotr Jan versus Rob Font is also the fight to make. No. I want to see Jan versus Aljo. 3. Honest question. Why is anyone questions Joey about anything, mods ban you? Do you really expect to ever grow with that mindset? Maybe you have more fans if you didn't ban. I don't ban anyone unless they're trying to throw out weird words that, basically trying to get people to say the N-word and stuff like that. So I don't know what you're talking about. If you think otherwise, then you're straight up delusional. So everyone who disagrees with you in your propaganda. And also, obviously you're salty for some reason, but also, how do you expect to ever grow with that mindset? I'm growing just fine, my friend. So, look, if you don't enjoy the channel, you go watch somebody else. There's not one person on this channel who's been banned for disagreeing with me. So, I don't know where you're coming up with that at. Can you do MMA Joey's UFC rankings? I'm not going to be able to do it, honestly. UFC Simp is legendary. What would you... Where was I at now? What do you think of Diaz saying he wants to probably fight 2 to 3 times next year? What promotion? This was Nate Diaz? I have no idea. Something tells me they're going to end up making Nate Diaz count of 3. Colby versus Khamzat needs to happen soon or it's not happening. I agreed. It's criminal that Whitaker isn't on the pound for pound list. I don't care about the pound for pound, so I can't think about it too much. But you're probably right. What's your prediction on Aljo versus Henry if it happens? What's your Henry destroys him. What's going on with Merab? Haven't heard a peep about him since the last fight. I hope he doesn't fight Sandhagen. I don't know, dude. Merab is in a weird no man's land because why is he going to fight in a contender fight when he's not going to fight for the belt because he refuses to fight Aljamain? So he's probably waiting and seeing if Aljamain ends up losing the belt, and then he'll go from there. So, have you seen The Thrill and Agony? I have not. I have to watch that. I have heard about it, but I have not watched it. So is Piotr versus Cheeto next since O'Malley's sitting out? I don't think O'Malley's going to sit out. I think he's going to end up fighting Cheeto in a rematch. How do you see Magomed versus Glover going? I think Glover gets chinned in that one. Somebody spamming the same thing, like Big Brother and them, even kissing Kyle on the top of the head. Really weird with his sus history. Okay. Can you do a 2023 champions at the end of the year prediction at the start of the new year? I will. Do you think Henry deserves an immediate title shot? Yes. Can you at least do pound for pound, please? I'll think about it. Propaganda, it's MMA channel, yeah. Whitaker versus Pereira in a hypothetical matchup. Probably Whitaker, but the size difference is going to be massive. Are there any unranked fighters that you think could be a champion? Off the top of my head, I can't think of any right now, but there definitely probably is. If you check his band channels, I bet you it's like less than 5. I don't know how many it is at this point, but all of them have like ridiculous names. But it's probably maybe like 20. That hate you with alts. Okay. Half my subscribers are... So why if you hate me, why are you subscribing to my list? Why are you subscribing to my channel, I mean? That's weird. And look, you got a weird name too. So I don't know why you come in here with weird names, trying to get people to say, you know, the N-word and weird shit. If you don't, I don't understand. If you don't like the channel, look, I don't want you here. If you don't enjoy this channel, fuck right off to another channel. I don't need you here. I want people who want to discuss MMA, and they're not weirdo 13-year-olds who just try to get people to say the N-word and other weird shit and just spam the chat with weird shit and try to get attention and cry and whine and say, why do you do this? And do you ever expect to grow? I'm growing just fine without you. Go unsubscribe. Go fuck off. And there's millions of YouTube channels. Go watch them instead. Obviously, you have an obsession if you're still here and you don't enjoy the channel. So, and also what you're saying is just flat out incorrect. So, that is very strange. I know you're a huge Aldo fan. How would you have liked to seen him and Khabib going? Khabib would have destroyed him and probably finished him. Colby's soaking up the endorsement money. It's only time he posts on IG. Yeah. Opinions on Merab, very good fighter, but put himself in a shitty situation saying, I'm not going to fight the champion. And now he beat Jose Aldo and just is now just chilling and doing nothing, which really pisses me off because I'd like to see Aldo fight for a belt again. Okay, where am I at? Joey, are you a fan of horror movies? Yes. It's crazy that Hamza is so good that fighters don't even want to fight the guy who did well against him, aka Gilbert Burns. True. Could Figgy be in the top 10, even top 5 in bantamweight? No. I think maybe top 10, definitely not top 5. Have you seen ESPN 30 for 30 documentary on Chuck? Yes, I have. I have seen that. It's been a while. The December 17th card is ridiculously stacked. I'm looking forward to that. Don't listen to that troll. Yeah, weirdo. Just a weirdo trying to stir stuff up. Okay, so if you're going to just continue to send messages that we don't need, there you go. You got what you wanted. There you go. You got a timeout. You got a timeout now. And then if you come back and do the same thing, you're just getting banned. Because if you're just going to spam messages, just talking shit over and over again, 17 messages here. Matt, thank you for the $2 super chat. I like the channel. I'm glad you're enjoying the channel. Look at me. I'm edgy. LOL. Kids don't understand MMA. Shaking my head. Love you, Joey. You got your hair did. Nice. Thank you. Valid cut. Thank you. This is the only place he gets messages. Read for some Sliver of relevance. Yeah, people just want it. People like that are just babies and want attention. I don't know why they do that weird shit, but I guess they're probably their family doesn't love them and they don't have any friends, so this is what they do in their spare time. I damn sure wouldn't waste my time on that. If I didn't like someone, why would I want to go watch their live stream? So, have you watched the Insidious series? Yes, amazing horror movie saga of If You're Ever Bored. I have seen them all. I'm 6'1", 180 pounds. Do you think lightweight or welterweight better option? I have no idea about weight cutting, so I don't know. But probably, I don't know. Based on current MMA fighters, probably lightweight. It's some child. Yeah, true. What do you think? What got you more hype? Conor versus Aldo or Conor versus Khabib or Jones versus DC? Probably Jones versus DC. But I was really hyped for Conor versus Khabib because I was confident Khabib would destroy him. Thoughts on Tuivasa taking fights so early after a loss? I think it's a bad mistake. And I think it's going to cost him. It's going to eventually cost him. So, would you do a pay-per-view fight against MMA Guru? I'd put money on you all day. I mean, it depends how much I'm getting paid. If I'm getting paid good, I'll pretty much fight anyone. Does Paddy Pimblett have a chance to enter the pound for pound rankings? No, never. What's up, Tommy? Thoughts on O'Malley saying he wants to fight Aljo before anything else and have his first title defense against Chito Vera? Thoughts on O'Malley's chances against Henry Cejudo? I think O'Malley just wants to try to improve on his grappling. And I think he likes his chances better against Aljo than Cejudo. I don't like O'Malley's chances against either one of those guys. Joey, are you a Scream fan? Not really. How would you see Arman versus Chandler going? That would actually be interesting, but I think Arman probably chins him somehow. Michael Chandler's chin is just not good. Imagine at 6 p.m. with the sunset going down and all you can do is go in someone's stream and try to hate on people for no reason. People are so weird. Keep doing you, Joey. I'll always support. What you have to understand is I actually feel bad for these people in a way because they truly have nothing better to do. They don't have friends. They don't have a family that cares about them. So it actually makes me feel bad for them. And they just try to, imagine trying desperately. You want so badly to get an attention from somebody online that you've never met to the point you're like, let me try to talk shit to them because then maybe I'll get more attention. It's really actually embarrassing. I'd really be embarrassed if I was that person. So I hope their life gets better. I wish them the best, but it's very weird. I would have much better things to do with my time. So that's why we'll move on. Do you think Tuivasa ever holds gold? Absolutely not. Prediction between Sean Strickland and Jarrett Cannonier. That's a tough fight to pick. I'm leaning Cannonier because of the power, but I could see Strickland going in there and just with volume, just winning via decision. Arman Sarukian, what are you asking there? 100% it's a child that doesn't get attention from his parents, yeah. Or it's like a teenager. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. It's irrelevant. So, it's irrelevant. It's hard to believe. By the way, guys, we have 6,146 subscribers. I forgot to say that off the jump. It is November 30th, 2022. I don't know where the time goes. I know I mentioned that off the jump. But yeah, for, hold on one second. For not growing, 6,146 subscribers is pretty damn good. If you're watching right now and you have not liked the stream yet, do me a favor and like the stream. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, go subscribe to the channel right this very second. Can Sean Strickland become champion? Probably not. He could probably get close. He'd probably even get a title shot, but I don't think he beats Adesanya or Pereira. It's going to be tough. Let's see. Where are we at here? Where are we at? I only watch YouTubers I like. I'm glad to have you here. Will Pereira KO Hamza if he's too big? Will Pereira KO Hamza if he's too big? He is too big for Hamza to take down at 205. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. So maybe. But it's hard to say. Okay, can Chandler beat Volk? Absolutely not. I think Volk would chin him. I think Volk would absolutely chin him. Are you doing a live stream for one? Maybe. I don't know. Depends. Maybe, maybe not. Uh, when is Strickland? When is that Strickland Cannonier fight? I think in 2 weeks. Would Eddie Alvarez in prime be doing well in the current 155 division? No, he would not. He would not be doing well. Strickland is my favorite person at a press conference. He was pretty funny. Can Baghadars? You just spelled his name. You spelled his name all messed up, but I can't actually pronounce it right this very second. Crack top 15. I like his style. Too early to tell. Would you like to see Sean Strickland as a commentator for fights? No. Already read that. McGregor, a fake welterweight. All his potential opponents are either lightweights who bounce around. That's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to get an easily winnable matchup at welterweight for an undersized guy while he's on PEDs. That's really what he's going to try to do. Will you marry your fiance next year? Maybe. Cannonier, a lock in my opinion. Strickland has 0 leg kick defense, and Cannonier going to chop them legs. Okay. Sup, Joey? Yo, Joey, what's up? Thoughts on Habib saying Volk will last longer than Oliveira did? Any your own personal decision? I think he probably will as well. Nice haircut, thanks. Yo, crispy cut. What's next for Jan? Probably Marab. Probably Marab. I don't get why Blades is being considered as a backup for a title match against Jon Jones. He's refused to fight Pavlovich, and I think Cyril Gane deserves more than a backup spot. I don't know. I guess because they already saw Gane versus Ngannou, they didn't want to do it again. And I think it's just they're putting it out there to put pressure on Ngannou. How is Conor going to pass the PED test? He's not. Right now, he's not. But he's going to come back right as he gets off of him. I like your shirt, Joey. Was Sean O'Malley's closest to losing the fight legitimately or Piotr Jan? I don't know if that's a question. How would McGregor do against Holland? I mean, that would be a weird fight to make. I think McGregor would probably win, especially on PEDs. The Sean vs. Jarrett card is actually very good. Yes, it is. Thoughts on MMA Guru? Do you watch his content? I only really know him through the chat, so I don't watch his content. So I don't know his content, so I can't say I like it, but I know he exists, and I've seen a little bit here and there. But seems all right. What inspired you to start your channel? Basically, I feel like there was really no MMA channels that weren't that were either extremely biased, that were scared, like certain big name MMA channels who work for major MMA outlets were scared to say certain things about the UFC. And there was just no channel that I felt like really talked about MMA the way my personal preferences would have been. And so therefore I didn't enjoy any MMA content. And that's why I tell you guys I really don't watch any MMA content on YouTube because I don't enjoy any of it. So I tried to be what I wanted basically, because people, there's the YouTube channels who, first off, they're extremely biased, but also they're just clickbaity as hell. And I know everyone's looking for clicks, but that doesn't mean you have to be super disingenuous about it. It's disturbing, like basically just making content to make content and then talking in circles for 15 minutes. It's garbage takes that don't even make sense, that they don't even actually believe, just to attract a certain fan base. Then you have people who, and I don't blame them. I'm just talking about my personal preference, that are just nothing but obsessed with gambling. That's not for me at all. Yeah, then there's the people that just don't talk about certain things just because, they don't want to offend Conor McGregor's fan base, or they don't want to offend Khabib's fan base. And so they won't say certain things out loud just because they don't want that community attacking them. I'm going to give you my personal opinion on what I think, regardless of what you guys like. If you guys hate it or love it, that's my opinion. So that's what inspired me. I wanted to start it since like 2014. So it's super unfortunate that I didn't do it earlier, but I finally worked up the courage to do it. Um, will you ever let us call into the show? Maybe. Would you ever interview Sean Strickland? Yes. Demir versus Arman sleeper fight for the rest of the year. I think that's my favorite fight on the card. Can't wait for UFC 285, bro. I've never banned anyone for disagreeing, so this is not true. Did your recent video of Strickland and Road Rage looking to get into a street fight? I did not see that. I'd seen somebody tweeting about it, but I did not actually see the video. Do you think Derek Lewis will grab another win, or is he on the Robbie Lawler, Tony Ferguson trajectory? Probably on the Robbie Lawler trajectory. What is Fizie's hardest challenge at 55 besides Makhachev? I don't know. So, toughest challenge outside of Makhachev is probably Dustin, maybe. But I think he even beats Dustin. So, that's probably it. Okay, where are we at? Did you score the fight 3-2 for Pacheco? Yes. D. Lewis will end up being GOAT gatekeeper? Maybe. Do you think Magomed Ankalaev will be a UFC flyweight champion? I think it's possible. This dude's saying I accused Connor of PEDs with zero evidence. Connor literally admitted to being on PEDs. So, would you do an MMA expedition tournament against other YouTube MMA channels? Not unless I'm getting paid. Look, I'll fight anyone for a certain amount of money. But I'm not doing it for fun. I'm not taking brain damage unless it's a decent amount of money. So basically, Chael Sonnen's videos, there you go. Would it make sense for Holloway to move up to lightweight or fight someone? I think it makes sense for Holloway to just sit and wait for now. But Neil Dariush will beat Islam? No. Also, you have yet to announce. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know what that is, dude. So stop. You know what? This is what is this guy doing? This is clearly the same guy. So adios. I hate the UFC Apex card. Shit is so sorry. Yeah, it's terrible. The Apex cards, I hate the Apex cards. Chael Sonnen videos are actually unbearable. Hold on one second. Yeah, they are. I mean, I haven't seen them in like a year probably, but yeah. Joe, man, what does your shirt say? There you go. There you go. Get a good look at it. MMA Guru upsets everyone. I don't know what you mean. Was there a moment or event that caused a spark for you to make your channel? No, there was many moments where I was like, damn it, I wish I had a YouTube channel right now. But no, not one particular event. I was devastated for Stevie Ray. He's from like 50 miles where I live and a fan. Great KO though. That sucks. Should Hamzat be pound for pound? Maybe. Maybe. But again, I don't care about the rankings, so I can't complain about him too much. What's up, Joey? You're on early today. I usually get on at 6 on Wednesdays. Regardless if you think O'Malley won versus Jan, do you think he proved that he belongs ranked in the top 5? I don't know about he proved he belonged in the top 5, but I think he proved he belonged in the top 10 for sure. At that point, before that, he had only beat up bums. Where was I at? YouTube just jumps around and it's actually really annoying. It's really super annoying. How do you deal with people calling you? So I need advice. People don't call me that. So, but I don't care regardless. You can't care what other people think, especially online weirdos. Like if you care what online weirdos say about you, you can't start a YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I feel bad for people who are like that. But yeah, that's basically the thought process there. If Tony versus Puelis happens, what round will it end? And I have no idea. Puelis will probably get DQ'd for stalling, dragging his ass against the carpet. Who's better? I don't even know who you're saying, or Makhachev, so I'll say Makhachev. If Aziz doesn't fight one of the top 5 soon, interest in the lightweight division is going to continue to fizzle out. He will. Do you think Hamzat turned Pereira down at 205? I don't think the UFC would have ever offered that. Tony versus Puelles is the most cursed fight I've never thought about. Yeah, I don't want to say it. Is it normal and acceptable for someone to take PEDs to heal right after an injury like Connor's? Depends on your thought process. Because I think it's more than reasonable for him to be on PEDs based on a doctor's advice. But if they're going to allow it, it needs to be highly regulated by USADA. He shouldn't just be able to leave the testing pool and then come back whenever he wants, roid it up, and fight right away. He needs to be in the 6-month waiting period. Is it normal and acceptable? Okay, read that. Who has the best chance of beating Islam? Rafael Fiziev, in my opinion. Dana White's puts events at UFC Apex because he's too lazy to travel. Maybe. Nice haircut, thank you. I tried watching Guru and he came off as a douche to me. What should be next for Moicano and Dawson? I'd like to see Moicano versus Dan Hooker. And Dawson, I don't know. I want to see him fight the toughest challenge that's 20 fighters ranked behind him after calling out Tony Ferguson. Wonderboy's gym is like 30 minutes from my house. That's awesome. How would our man versus Dustin go? I think Dustin beats him up on the feet. But it depends. It depends what happens. It depends if Armin could get him down. Do you think Tuivasa-Pavlovich fight should be 50-50 underdog spot or Tuivasa is okay? I think Tuivasa should be an underdog. What the F? How do you believe O'Malley doesn't belong in the top 5? He's beaten up nothing but garbage cans. And then he lost to Petr Yan and got, it was a one-sided fight for Yan for 3 rounds. So how can I use that to rank him above a guy like Corey Sandhagen who's sitting at number 6? So for me, in my opinion, Sean O'Malley should be ranked number 7 right now if I was doing the rankings. So there you go. Pound for pound list is the joke. Agreed. I want to see Tashiro Taira versus Muhammad Mokaev so damn bad. Okay, that's who he was talking about. I forgot the name. I think that'd be a fun fight, but I don't think they make it. Who do I think is better? I don't know. They both have looked so impressive. They haven't fought elite of the elite talent. But I'll say Mokaev. Do you think UFC 285 is officially when Johnny Bones is coming back? Yes. If he doesn't come back for 285, I think he never comes back, to be honest. I think he never comes back. What's up, Joey? Just joined the stream. Love the shirt. Appreciate you. If Gregor Gillespie actually fought and went to featherweight, how far do you think he would go? He's never going to fight. How would he do at featherweight? I think he'd be mildly all right. I think he'd be like top 15. No, just jokes. Wait, is Ferguson fighting Puelles? No. Fiziev, you think Darius doesn't have a chance, but you think Fiziev does? What the F? Yes. I ordered me and my son an MMA Joey shirt. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Tony. The link is in the description. Do you like the Weasel? I think he's the best MMA YouTuber. To be honest, I've only seen a little bit. I've seen a little bit of him. People have sent those ones like, oh, analyzing the decision. But for me, I can't watch any videos with just static images. Maybe it's just because, I don't know. I just have a short attention span. But static images, I cannot watch. How do you feel about catchweight fights? They're meaningless. If they did YouTube MMA like YouTube boxing, would you want to be a commentator? No. I wouldn't even want to watch. I watched the fight again. Round 3 is also a clear round for Jan. I thought it was 30-27. It was a clear 30-27. I rewatched it. It was a clear 30-27. It was a brutal robbery. Anyone saying otherwise is just a Sean O'Malley, deep throater. Because it was clearly a 30-27 if I've ever seen one. And if the roles were reversed, you would literally have people outraged that Sean O'Malley lost. So, there you go. MMA is my favorite sport. Me too. Maybe it's a dumb question, but who exactly ranks the fighters? Basically, a bunch of MMA media that we don't even know about. Basically, that's it. One-sided fight versus Piotr, even though he busted him wide open and had him pouring blood all over the cage. Okay, like that's super relevant. It was a one-sided fight. It was a one-sided but slightly competitive fight. That's one cut in the same round. He wobbled O'Malley twice. Yeah, and took him down and beat him up on the ground too. It was the first round was closer than the third round. Third round was clearly on. No other sport do you have to walk through a man with him trying to do everything he can do to get you out of there. That is true. Will Diaz ever return to the UFC after recently being released? He was not released. He fought out his contract. I have a feeling that we're going to see Diaz 3. Diaz versus McGregor 3 anyway. Breaking in a news day with Uncle Joey. Have a blessed Thursday. It's Wednesday. But all right, like the streams. Yeah, guys, if you have not liked the stream, I would greatly appreciate it. The Weasel is pretty good breakdowns when it comes to statistics, and all strikes clearly landed. O'Malley landed. Dude, no, he did not. I watched the fight multiple times. There's no way O'Malley outlanded him. I don't care. I have my own eyes. I don't care what some MMA YouTuber who uses static images has to say about it, okay? So, it was the worst robbery I've ever seen since Diego Sanchez versus Ross Pearson. It was a brutal, brutal robbery. It was clear as day that Jan won that fight. O'Malley knew it. So did his coach. It was a clear loss, okay? And it's the worst decision I've ever seen. And had Jan got the decision, none of you guys would say he won that fight. So, worst KO you've ever seen? Mine is Bisping Dan Henderson. Terry Adam versus Edson Barboza. Jan was wobbles by that knee. No, he was not. And he smacked O'Malley up right after that knee. And O'Malley literally did nothing after that knee either. Nice haircut. Thank you. Thursday in Scotland, my man. Okay, I did not know that. Jan was not wobbled by that knee at all. He just backed up. O'Malley cut him off against the cage and threw a knee, and other shit missed. Yeah, he didn't land any of the follow-up shots. Will you try to get some women's-style Joey shirts? Maybe. The Weasel scored it for Jan. There you go. So even if you do believe him, there you go. Sanchez is a goofball. Okay. Everybody's saying it was a horrible robbery where the same people saying O'Malley was going to get mauled. He did get mauled. He got mauled terribly. It was a mildly competitive but one-sided fight. It was not a close fight at all. There's no reason. Like going to the scorecards, I never even thought there was a chance for a robbery. That's how clear-cut it was. And the only reason you guys are saying this is because you like O'Malley. You will never be able to convince me somebody actually watches that fight and thinks O'Malley wins. If you do, you are fucking blind. This would not happen with any other fighter. Should Jan leave the UFC? They don't seem to back him up like they should. At this point, no. But it does suck for him. It does suck for him. Why is Joe Rogan talking to O'Malley? Dude, don't listen to anything Joe Rogan says. Joe Rogan's literally an idiot. Jan just can't win. Yeah, unfortunately he can't. He should be pound for pound like number 1, number 2, couple title defenses in, but instead, nope. Hendo lumbar KO was brutal. Yeah, that elbow was filthy. Very competitive. How is UFC supposed to back Jan up? They could just give him a title shot anyway. That's what they could do. That's what they did for Jose Aldo versus Marlon Moraes. Or they could come out and say, Dana could come out and say, I clearly thought he won, but he didn't do that because he knows. What do you think of Jamal Hill championship chances? I think he has decent chances. It was a close fight. No, it was not close. I don't care if you think Piotr or O'Malley won it, but it was absolutely a close fight, and you're a lunatic if you don't think it was close. It was not close at all. So, I'll never forget your reaction after Jan got robbed. I could not believe it. I can't believe they did that so brazenly. That was the worst judging I've ever seen in my life. Can you at least admit you don't like him? I don't like him a little bit. I don't like egregiously hate him or anything. His fan base is worse than him. Rogan don't think before he talks. Yeah, I think all them drugs have turned his brain to mush. Rogan also said Ronda's stand-up was so good it made him cry. I know. You have to watch MMA blind. No biases or opinion on fighter. That way you can see who's really winning. I will 100% back this up and die on this hill. I don't believe anyone actually thinks O'Malley won. They're just convincing themselves that because they like him. He didn't win. Everyone knows he lost. O'Malley knows he lost. Like if you could put him to a lie detector and ask him if he thought he lost immediately after the fight, he would say 100% yes. Or he wouldn't, but he would get caught in a lie. He knows he lost. Everyone knows he lost. And people are just crazy. And you're just convincing themselves that he won. Fighters straight up just can't leave fights to the judges anymore. Yep. Is Piotr Jan going to beat Merab? Also, if he beats Merab, is he back in the mix? Yes. Yes and yes. Joey, I watched Jan O'Malley and didn't stay to even listen to the judges' scores. I was sure Jan had won. Yeah, I didn't even think it was close enough to have a chance at a robbery. I thought it was clearly 30-27 for Jan. It could have went either way, in my opinion. Jan didn't do anything with those takedowns. That's completely false. That is 100% false. He didn't do anything with those takedowns. That is the dumbest statement I've been hearing people constantly perpetuate. He didn't do anything with the takedowns. Literally, he landed probably, over the course of the entire fight, probably 20 to 40 ground and pound strikes off the takedowns. I don't understand how you can say he did nothing with the takedowns. I actually took a video on my phone and I was going to post it somewhere and say, yeah, he did nothing with the takedowns. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I took it sometime in October. He didn't do anything with the takedowns. Let me see if I can find it. It's just a quick video, like 10 seconds long. And it was just, oh, he didn't do anything with the takedowns yet. Here he was beating him up on the ground over and over again. Landing like 5 to 10 strikes in like a 5-second period. I don't know where it is though. I'm not going to be able to find it. I had it saved on my phone. But yeah, fight wasn't close at all. A close fight. It was not close. The fight was not close. O'Malley was on JRE, both saying it wasn't a robbery. Of course he's going to say that. But it was, clearly. O'Malley performed way better than I expected versus Jan. I was shocked when O'Malley won. That is why people are so adamant about O'Malley won, is because they expected much less from O'Malley. And that's why. Because he overperformed expectations, people are saying it wasn't a robbery. It was a clear robbery. It's the worst robbery I've seen in MMA. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to be realistic with what their favorite fighters. Everyone's favorite fighter is the best in the division. If you think they aren't, you just don't like them. I know. It's crazy. If there's anyone that honestly, with their heart of hearts, believes that Sean O'Malley won, I just think they're straight up delusional. Because there's no way you can watch that fight and think he won. There's no way. So you're just delusional and you've convinced yourself that. Imagine those same people watching that same fight, but O'Malley was Jan and Jan was O'Malley. They would be crying and screaming from the rooftops that O'Malley was robbed. If the exact fight happened exactly the way it does, but the roles were reversed, Jan got the decision, and the fight, for Jan was O'Malley and so forth. You get what I'm saying? They'd be screaming from the rooftops, brutal robbery. And I would be too. But, they're not. They don't care because their fighter won. I like Jan and feel pretty neutral about Sean, and I'm curious about the argument they were weighing damage over control time. Well, even if they're weighing damage over control time, Jan did more damage. Damage isn't just a cut. Damage is brain damage. Damage is damage to the body. Damage is body to the legs. Which Jan did more damage in every single round. Rogan said Ronda's striking was because... Rogan said... Hold on, what? I don't know, it just jumped all the way to the bottom, so now I can't find it where I was at. Rogan said GOAT striking was GOAT level. Ronda said GOAT striking. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Close fight. No, read that. O'Malley said, okay, well, read that. Joe Rogan is honestly my least favorite commentator. I used to like him, but now he says stuff that just doesn't... Dude, Rogan's brain dead at this point. Rogan used to be my favorite commentator, and now he's just straight up garbage. I mean, Rogan's straight up atrocious. He's a detriment to the sport at this point. You could argue 29-28, but 2 rounds for O'Malley is egregious. I can't make the case for any round for O'Malley. And I would love to get 500 people. They don't even need to know the rules of MMA. 500 people watch that fight and then write down who they think won that fight. I'd be willing to bet 490 plus say Jan won that fight. If you just ask people, they don't know nothing about MMA, you just ask them who won that fight. I bet you they would all say Jan. At this moment, I think if Jan doesn't finish his opponent, he will end up losing. That's just a lie. He landed many ground and pound strikes, which means the takedowns count. Exactly. What did more physical damage, though? Well, physical damage isn't a rule. So you need to read the rules. Physical damage is not the rule. Well, physical damage is the rule. Visible damage is not the rule. There is physical damage when Jan rocks him on the feet and hurts his brain badly, or chops his leg and hurts his legs. Blood is not end all be all for damage. I hate the way Rogan calls damn near every up and coming fighter an otherworldly assassin with nuclear power. Bro needs to shut his corny ass up. Agreed. What did Jan do in the 1 minute control time in the first round after being outstruck for 4 minutes? Well, he wasn't outstruck, so. I think O'Malley proved himself a lot against Jan, should be respected for it, but he got an undeserved win. Agreed. Couldn't agree with you more. These fight cards going to be in Florida, not the Apex. Yeah, this upcoming. Do you think Woodley was overrated? He has some good wins, but he's not a top 5 welterweight in UFC history. I don't think he was overrated. I don't think anyone was calling him the GOAT. I'm biased, okay? Whatever you want to think. I mean, you watch that. You're watching that fight, and it's clearly obvious that he lost. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Where was I at? Drink every time Rogan or Cormier calls someone a savage during the broadcast. Yeah. It's also more delusional to say the fight wasn't close. Okay. Well, dude, you don't know what you're watching if you think that fight was close. It was competitive. It was not close. Those things are not the same thing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Strickland. He's a good fighter. He's an interesting personality. I just think it was close. It was not close. Number 1 rule for the UFC going forward should be to finish the fight. That's always the rule. O'Malley did not almost knock out Jan with that knee. He wasn't even wobbled with that knee. So, I don't know what you're talking about there. It turned out to be the Liver King is on PEDs. I don't even know why people are talking about that. I saw people talking about that on Twitter. That's the dumbest thing. What's your pick for fight of the night this weekend at UFC Orlando? I don't really have a pick. I don't know. I can't give you an answer for that one. Listen, Jackson, if you think O'Malley clearly won that 3rd round, then you were an idiot. You were a straight up idiot. That's all I can say. I don't care what you say. One knee does not surpass the fact that Jan literally beat him up and outstruck him for that entire 3rd round and took him down on multiple occasions and beat him up on the ground. Love the idea of having non-fans watch and judge. There you go. Do you think Patty will finish Jared Gordon? Probably. They won't give you the correct answer. I'm just saying I think it'd be funny. And I bet you 490 plus. The UFC was okay with the results of O'Malley. Their preferred fighter won. Exactly. Dude is a killer. Yes. O'Malley threw more volume through it. Dude, you don't know what you're talking about. If you think he won the fight, you just don't know what you're talking about. But then again, you're like 14 years old, so of course you don't know. Do you think Pereira would be better suited at light heavyweight? He's already 240 pounds. Yes. But he's going to lose the guys that can grapple at light heavyweight. Rogan is an atrocious commentator the whole time during Adesanya Blachowicz. Oh my God. They were talking about the feints of Adesanya. Terrible commentary. I wish Rogan would just quit the UFC at this point. I don't think the KO could ruin Kamaru's legacy. He's still become the welterweight GOAT only because he did not get dominated in the fight with Leon. Agreed. Joe Rogan, the calf kicks have changed the game. At least we can agree that O'Malley did better against Jan than Sandhagen. No, I wouldn't even agree with that. I would have to go back and watch the Sandhagen fight, but I think Sandhagen did better than O'Malley. Dude, I'm not even reading this anymore because that's not what I'm saying. Joe, I'm gonna watch this fight again just to make sure you're not a crackhead. I don't know what you're saying. Joe, I don't disagree with you about the 3rd round at 280, but what type of damage counts of winning the fight? I'm just confused about that part. Damage in general, but damage doesn't only mean damage that you can see. You know, there's damage when somebody clips them on the chin and wobbles them. There's damage when they land 4 or 5 leg kicks. There's accumulation of damage. It doesn't just mean, oh, they have to have a bulging eye or a cut on their eyebrow. That's not what damage means. The damage can mean some leg kicks that make them limp around. You know what I mean? Damage can be anything. It's not just visible damage. Go read the rule book. The worst thing in the division will be stuck until O'Malley gets a title shot. First, we get Sterling. Dude, I don't even know how long it's going to be, but it's going to be fun to see O'Malley fight Sterling versus Hudo, but that doesn't change the fact it was a brutal robbery. If I think they should just do O'Malley Cheeto for #1 contender, and if O'Malley beats Cheeto, I'm fine with him getting a title shot anyway. Is O'Malley underrated? That's why people are excited to see him a competitive fight against Jan. Yes, underrated by the majority of like level-headed MMA fans. Would you make Darren Till favorite versus Dreykus? I don't know. That fight's 50-50. Did O'Malley have a better performance against Jan, Cheeto, or any other fights? Yeah, the fights that he actually won. Sandman got tore up by Jan. Yeah, so did O'Malley. He almost got finished by Jan. Who do you predict Masvidal fights next? I thought it was going to be Burns, but I guess not. I don't know. I could honestly see him sitting out forever. Patty won some points with me ringing that lady's doorbell, trying to clean up his dog's runny shit. Respect. Agreed. 40 significant strikes to Jan's 15 significant strikes. Dude, those stats are meaningless. Those stats are literally meaningless. Who makes those stats? Who makes those stats? I will never use stats to support an argument, and you should never use stats. I will never use the stats to delegitimize an argument. Those stats are absolute horseshit. They're never relevant, and there's a reason that you don't know who makes those stats. You can't answer that question because you don't know. There's no answer for it. It's some website which you don't know who works for it. You don't know the legitimacy of it. And most of the time, they're just inaccurate, wildly inaccurate. So I would not take those. And you don't even know what the definition of a significant strike is. And even if you did know the definition of significant strike, it's highly subjective. That is, Joey, because you could get a little nick on your finger and they'd call it damage. Exactly. This is a perfect example of need for open scoring. The problem with judging on damage is it's so subjective. UFC needs a minimum 5 judges. Agreed. John versus Francis, Henry versus Aljo. Cheeto versus Sean. Agreed. The knee had damage on it, but it wasn't much damage as the hooks landed after not even close. The head kick got blocked. Yeah. The punches he landed like in the 30 seconds, 45 seconds after the knee did far more damage than the knee itself. Exactly. Mike Goldberg's the reason. They aren't meaningless. Those stats are meaningless, dude. If you can't see that, you don't even know who makes those stats. You can't answer that question. You don't even know what the definition of a significant strike is. So, Masvidal can't even get a license. He is done. He won't ever fight again. I hope not. I'm tired of hearing him beg for an undeserved title shot. The stats don't mean jack. You could have a significant strike, 22-15, and the guy with 15 significant strikes did more damage. Exactly. And also, yeah, I'm not even going to get into it anymore. I never thought Jan was in trouble for 1 second of that fight. Agreed. Anything that lands on the feet is a significant strike, including jabs, leg kicks, and on the ground is where it gets tricky. No, that's not necessarily correct. You are saying you give O'Malley no credit whatsoever. That's not true. If you stream video games, will you play UFC 4? Probably not. I hate EA Sports. No hooks in the third, wobbled O'Malley in the follow-up hook that cracked him bad. I mean, it was a I agree with you, but it's not even up for debate. I mean, it was a clear loss for Sean O'Malley. Everybody knows that. These people arguing it even know it. The universe punishing Jan for making Sterling champ. I think even Joe Rogan was saying he didn't understand why they don't have more judges. Yeah, well, Joe Rogan's irrelevant, though. Calf kicks are changing the game. Also, all right, guess Jorge Masvidal's 4 significant strikes against Askren are meaningless. That is the dumbest version of an argument I've ever heard in my entire life. That fight did not go to a decision, and you're not using the stats to generate your scorecards. You're not saying, oh, well, he landed more strikes, so he wins this round. You're talking about a fight where a guy was unconscious. You're not talking about the accumulation of strikes winning a round. So, obviously, you're terrible at making an argument. Any current fighter that you think would make a good commentator? No. Cosmetic cutting someone openly doesn't even matter. Hardly means anything. Exactly. I hear a lot of people criticizing the 10-point judging, but never offer a better replacement. No saying you want to replace, but what could be a good alternative? I think they need more judges and they need more educated judges. My jiu-jitsu coach says he doesn't think Jan is a good fighter. He just has power. I kind of agree. Which Jan? Jan Blachowicz? Jan Blachowicz has good striking, but overall he's not super well-rounded. Am I the only one that finds it cringy when Masvidal says he is busy with midterms? Dude, I've said that a million times. Dude acts like he's running for office. Anything landed in the space besides a jab is a significant strike. I know, but it's super subjective too. When did Rogan start to go downhill? Probably 2017, 2018. I'm saying strikes are consistent. No, they're not. You're not being consistent by saying O'Malley's fight isn't correct, but other fights you have no problem to admit strikes are correct. I've never, ever referenced strike counts ever. Ever in a single video I've ever done. So, you're wrong. GSP got his face splattered in the first round against BJ Penn in the first round and still won the fight. I don't even know. I wasn't watching around that fight, so I can't even say as far as is that a good reference. But it's irrelevant. Just one cut doesn't win you a round, ever. It was a clear loss. He got beat up for 3 rounds, and he got gifted a decision. It's end of story. Everyone knows it, including O'Malley. So I'm not going to sit here and debate it any longer. I mean, we all know it. The people arguing it even know it. So there's no point in discussing it anymore. They know what happened there. They know what happened. I feel like Joe got stuck in an old era of UFC. I think he's just a casual fan at this point. Slow-mo with proof. Dude, you're delusional. You're just delusional. Go watch Sean O'Malley streams. Because you're literally delusional. That's just not accurate. It's not accurate. I don't see John having ring rust and trouble with Francis because he's been out for 3 years. I think it's a 50-50 shot. He could not. It's hard to say. I would love to see Jan to fight Cruz. Dude, what are you trying to do to Cruz? What are you even doing to having Cruz? Love the shirt, thanks. What do you think of Anik? I think he's pretty good. I guess people can't even have an opinion now. Who's saying that? Who do you think winning? Oh my God, I'm not even discussing that one. We're not even discussing that one. I can't believe Dana White is even promoting that now. I think you hit the nail on the head. Joe feels like a casual. Joe doesn't pay attention to MMA anymore. O'Malley did look like he was in shock when he was waiting. Dude, O'Malley and his coach knew that he lost. 100% certainty. So, I can't watch Anik laughing every 10 seconds when things aren't funny. Dude will land a overhook and Anik will laugh insane. I've never noticed that. I've never paid super close attention to that. So that is an interesting reference. I'll have to pay attention to that. What do you think will be number one contender? So who do you think will be the number one contender for the winner of Sterling O'Malley fight? Sterling and O'Malley are not going to fight. It's going to be Sterling versus Cejudo. Then the winner of that fight will fight O'Malley. So Sterling and O'Malley could fight, but Sterling will have to beat Cejudo first, in my opinion. Hey, Joe, what are your thoughts on having the same name as an adolescent kangaroo? I don't really have any thoughts. That's fine by me. Joe looks like he suffocated himself when someone gets knocked out the way his face gets so red. Yeah, that's all Rogan does nowadays is just make his eyes big and then just go like this. Just for reaction to the camera. That's all he does. What's up, Seal? Heard anything from Pat Rose lately? No. We can talk about the fight all day, but now it's over. Skinny white kid that smokes all day is number one contender, so now we wait. Yeah, but he's not getting the next title shot. Are you mad that Joe gets preferential treatment? Do you not feel like he's earned it, that being he's one of the most iconic? I mean, what do you mean? I'm not mad about anything. I'm just saying it's not my personal preference. Yeah, after O'Malley fights for the title, do you think the next contender, Cheeto or Sam? It'll depend how the division plays out. There's a chance Sterling and Cejudo fight, and then we get an immediate rematch, or somebody else becomes resurgence. So, curious, you think T-Bow got robbed against Khabib? It's been a long time. I have to go back and watch that fight. I think Poirier would make a good commentator. I hate DC and Rogan over-exaggerating for every little thing. Yeah. If you put on your Venom gear, who do you think gets hurt in the ring against Rogan? If you put on your Venom gear, who do you think gets hurt in the ring against Rogan? Well, I don't understand the question there. It's crazy to think that Kevin Holland will be top 10 in a week. He has to beat Wonderboy first. But yeah, that will be crazy considering he doesn't belong there. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, you never know. You'll never know. He might lose to Wonderboy. Which, by the way, guys, if you have not watched my UFC Orlando prediction videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you went and checked it out. 1 second. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay. T-Bow did get close. I remember that. Yeah, it was close. Listening from the gym. Love the content. Thank you, Mikey Polo. Between you and Rogan, if I was wearing my Venom gear, I'm whooping Rogan. No one said O'Malley isn't talented. MMA fans are so sensitive. Yes, they are. Sean O'Malley sounds like the biggest bozo. Keeps saying big toe hit my leg in a weird way. Dude, it's a fight. It can flick up. I want. Yeah, a lot of excuses every fight. That's what I don't like. If Kevin striking is dominant grappling, he'll be dangerous. He's never going to get dominant grappling. I like Kevin striking. Okay, read that. What are your thoughts when people say UFC is more entertainment than a sport? I don't really have a reaction. I mean, it's just a combination of both, to be quite honest. Will Sean Brady bounce back? I'll say yes, but it depends who his next opponent is. I'd probably take Barberino over RDA. I can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine that. O'Malley had good feints though. Yeah, he's always had good feints. I appreciate you hearing your thoughts and creating a forum for us. No problem, anytime. What do you think of Bilal saying Usman doesn't deserve? Dude, Bilal's always saying the dumbest shit. Bilal is always saying the dumbest shit. So I don't take any credence in that. But guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to record my Is UFC 282 Worth Your Money here in a little bit, and it'll be released a little bit later tonight. I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the stream before you go. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And bare minimum, I'll be back on Saturday streaming UFC Orlando, but I'll probably do a stream before that. So just keep an eye out on the channel. Make sure you turn on notifications and be on the lookout for a video coming in the next hour, hour and a half at the latest, I would say, about UFC 282. So thank you guys so much for watching the live chat. I greatly appreciate it and enjoy the rest of your night.